What's the purpose of the fluffiness of the mic?
It's more for like wind noise and stuff.
It's more for show.
Yeah, it's actually a dead cat. Yeah, no,
So there must be a purpose. I should ask. Hi, my name is Hana and I am an international Muslim student at the University of Manchester. So I grew up in Dubai, and it's absolutely nothing like growing up here, although it's now a very multicultural place and it's very global. That's not really the Dubai that I was very accustomed to. The culture was quite different in that there wasn't any inherent pride in being a woman and being a Muslim woman. It came into such a sharp focus when I moved here, because nothing makes you feel more brown or more Muslim than moving to the West, moving to England. And as diverse as Manchester is, there's so many definitions of what it means to be a Muslim woman here. It's a Pandora's box, and suddenly everyone's asserting their identities. It's almost easier to say, I'm brown, I'm Muslim, I'm a Muslim woman. That's something that I never found myself saying at home. When you move into a community where you are the minority, in what you look like and what you present yourself as, in the first thing that people see, it makes that more, in a way, more visible. And if you don't celebrate it, then the only other option is that you hide it, and you can't really hide it here. So I think if you have to choose between celebration and shame, I choose celebration. I applied to universities in the UK because I wanted to, even though I knew that I wouldn't be allowed to go. At the time, my dad refused to let me leave. He said, no way, no how, you're not leaving. We don't send girls abroad. And I think with the matter of going away to university, he was quite conflicted. He wanted me to have my dream, to study at a great university, to be challenged. But at the same time, he couldn't stand the thought of his little girl leaving. And I think that's at the core of all of our parents' worries. They just don't want us to be alone in the world. They don't want us to struggle or to suffer or to have any of the hardships that they had. So I got my exam results and I thought, you know what, it's now or never. I have one day clearing. And I remember going to my dad and saying, so I know I said I'd taken back all the offers, but I just rang and Manchester's offered me a place, and it just felt like fate. And I think he knew this as well, because he didn't exactly say, no, this is a bad thing, but he didn't say, yes, this is great. He said, okay. So I left and he came with me, and I think it took that extra push for me to realize that I had to just make that one decision, and he needed me to say, I'm doing this. Will you support me? And he did support me, and he continues to support me. It's a sad truth that so many Muslim women and young Muslim girls are often told, this is what you can do, and this is what you can't do. You can become a teacher, you can't become a professor. In the cases of those who are told you must do this, it's sort of difficult to test where the boundary is. And for those girls who push the boundaries, there is a risk that it's like an elastic band that it will snap back at them. But pushing is important. I had to push boundaries as well. Luckily, my boundaries were more flexible. I think not enough Muslim women and Muslim girls share these experiences, and they kind of mask it. They mask what they've had to do, the difficult choices they've had to make in order to be successful, a good wife and a good mother, and in order to fit the mold of the good Muslim girl. So this year I founded the Women's Theatre Society, and that's something I've been involved in very recently. I don't have any background in theatre. Was once in a play when I was 12, and that's about it. But I remember that there are certain things I've always wanted to do, and there are certain things I've always wanted to do and always said, well, I can't do this because. So I remember watching my friend Eleanor in this play, The Shape of Things, and I remember seeing her just come to life on stage. It was a whole different side of her, and I thought, wow, that is so cool. When we left the theatre, we were in the car, and I said, you were so great, but I could never really do that. And she said, why? I said, well, you made out with a guy. I would never do that. Like, there are so many reasons that we just can't do things. You know, I wouldn't be able to wear the kind of costumes that I would need to. I wouldn't be able to, you know, like to interact with men on stage in that way. And I wouldn't be comfortable being as expressive when I wear a hijab and when I'm trying to maintain some semblance of modesty, even though that's something that I would do in a private setting. And she said, wait, why can't you do it in a private setting? Like, why can't we have an inclusive space, a safe space for Muslim women to engage in theatre? And I thought, wait, that's a really good idea. Let's do it. And so we set up the society together to be a safe space for all women. I mean, being a Muslim woman, there are certain things that we're very conscious about, but they're the same things that other women are conscious about, just on a different level, just in a different way. And really, we all share the same insecurities and the same struggles and the same worries. And sometimes we just need spaces for us. It's important to take back the stage, as it were. And I think so many women could do with that. So many women could do with being given a space where they're just allowed to be themselves unashamedly, confidently, unapologetically themselves. And it's done really, really well. And it makes me so proud to watch them strut on stage and deliver a funny, sad, exciting, passionate monologue. And to think, wow, like, this person wouldn't really have done this. And now they have a space to do it. And that's something that I'm really proud of.